Fantasy Island is a movie, and I was lucky enough to see it. Not. So yeah, I can't really say too much about this movie. In fact, I can't really say who directed it because I don't want to give them a bad rep, even though you guys can look it up yourself. But I'm sure you guys know, probably by now, even after just a few seconds, this is one of the worst movies of the year. Probably the worst so far. Yeah. This movie is basically based off the TV show of the same name from the 70s or 80s. And it's basically about people who want to live out their fantasies, like Revenge of the Childhood Bully. You know, it could be sexual wise. You know, you maybe have a sex fantasy, and people now have this option to have that fantasy, but it comes at a price. I will admit that when I heard about this movie, I thought the concept was going to be interesting, but there are ways you can tell a movie's bad, especially if it's a horror film, and this to me does not feel like a horror film. I feel like this review should actually be more of a rant than an actual review, because this movie is just plain awful. This is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I never want to see it again. Never. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, I will say that the special effects in this movie were really good, and some of the acting is at times passable. There were some aspects of the movie I did not like, which we'll get into that pretty soon. I'm trying to list off as many good things as I can because I have so much bad stuff to say. Oh, man. Oh, man, I can't believe I saw this. Now, this movie... Oh, man. I will admit, Michael Pena in this movie is good. I thought he was really good. I think he's a great actor. I've seen him in a couple films, and now I'm actually sad that he actually signed up to be in this thing, in this piece of crap here. Yeah, okay, let's just get into the bad stuff because I have so much to say. To be honest, the movie itself does not work. I felt the entire plot of the movie felt kind of predictable, and especially that ending. Oh my god, the ending. There's so many twists and turns in the movie that it goes during like the final 20 minutes. It literally felt like that they did not know where they were going to go with it, and they just listed off every possible ending that they could have come up with, and they're like, okay, let's put them all in the movie. They have to make sense. Yeah. This is why some people working in Hollywood are just stupid, because I can't believe people actually agreed to make this thing. Like, there was no real solution in the end. It's like, it was just all packed into the final 15 minutes, and I was like, what? What the hell? What's going on? Like, it was so confusing. Even my girlfriend, who I saw this with, she was confused by it as well. There's even a part in the movie where somehow all these people's lives are somehow connected, and I thought it was stupid. I thought it felt very forced into the film, and I felt like they were going to do that towards the beginning of the movie, and I felt it, and it happened. So, yeah, very predictable. That's another one. Another thing about this movie is I feel that the way the island controls people or controls their fantasies, it's just a magic rock that shows you your fantasies, and it's controlling the island and the people who live on it. It's like, oh my god, it turned into a cartoon after that. After I found that out, it turned into a cartoon. If this had been more of a psychological thriller about a guy who's just messing with your mind and doing this, than an actual rock controlling the whole island, it would have probably made a little bit more sense. It wouldn't be as bad as it is now. It probably would still be bad, but I probably wouldn't hate it as much as I do right now. The only good thing I can say about this movie is there's a guy in the movie whose name is Dr. Torture. He wears like a surgical uniform, like a nurse's uniform, and his mouth is sewn shut, and he walks around with a surgical saw blade, and he was the only thing in the film that I actually liked. And I feel like if the movie was centered more around him than everybody else, and it was a movie about a killer on an island that was him, this movie would have been a lot more scarier. because I was scared and taken aback every time I saw him on screen. But guys, I do not recommend you see this movie at all. Don't see it. I suggest you stay away from it entirely. The only good thing about the film was Dr. Torture, and that's why the film is gonna get a D-. Okay, so yeah. Don't see this movie. It's a waste of time. It's probably a waste of 2 hours of your life, which 2 hours that went on for way too long. Another thing. So guys, look forward to my next review, which is for Call of the Wild. That's a little bit better than this one. A lot better than this movie. So guys, I'll see you later.